Hello all and welcome to a brand new Parry's Pickups. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode, which is, again, as I like to say, a mixed bag of all sorts of different games from all sorts of different consoles. We'll start with a game I've actually just been playing, and that is X, the TV Animation X as it is known, which is a fighting game based on X, the TV Animation, which is a manga by Clamp. Also, you may be familiar with the anime movie, which was quite popular, well, a fair few years ago now. But this is a fun fighting game. It's a little bit different than most. It's most similar to Psychic Force, which is another PlayStation game as a sequel on the Dreamcast as well. So it's well worth playing. It's quite easy. I just finished the arcade mode without a problem. Even not knowing the intricacies of the controls, because I've got Psychic Force but I haven't played it in such a long time, so I just kind of going into this fresh. The fights play out in a 3D space, in like a cube, but I feel like you kind of move on still on a 2D plane, but you're flying around. There's quite a few great little dash and dodge moves that you can do. There's one that even kind of dashes you around the opponent. Not in a 3D way where you go behind him, but you go like above or below, you know. And so you can. There's quite a lot of kinetic kind of action in this fighting game, which makes it very different from a lot of other ones. I haven't got all my attacks down in this game yet, but you can do close. If you're close up to your opponent, or do close up punching kicks that don't use psychic energy. But if you're far away, you will be firing psychic energy at your opponents. So you've got a psychic meter, so that's all your psychic energy is. You can be tracked within that meter, so you can wear that down quite easily if you keep spamming the attack button. But you can still sort of dodge around and get out of the way of your opponents if needs be without taking up that psychic meter. Health is the other bar that's on the side of the screen. So yes, if you're familiar with Psychic Force, this follows all the same sort of gameplay mechanics as far as I remember. Nicely presented, great graphics, a great soundtrack and graphics. Also, initially it may seem like all the action is very dark, but there is at least one level which is set in the daytime as well, so it's not in too gloomy if you're worried about that. But yeah, great graphics, fast as well. This is a fast, fun fighting game, which is a little bit different from the norm. And it's not actually a fighting game I was aware of until recently, so it's great stuff. That's X, or TV Animation X, for the PlayStation 1, well worth picking up for any one-on-one fighting fans. We'll move on to a Master System game now. Not a format I cover a lot in Parry's Pickups, and that's basically because the Master System was my first console, and I have those games which I'm so nostalgic for that I played on the Master System, and I haven't been that inclined to dip back into the game library and buy more, because it feels for me like it's sort of stuck in a certain time for me, the Master System. That was then, this is now. I mean, that sounds crazy for someone who's into retro games, but the Master System is one that I associate mainly with just a particular bunch of games. But every now and again, I will pick up a new game for it, but I don't tend to go out of my way to get Master System games. That game is Taz-mania. And Taz-mania was a game that I used to desire as a child. I think I was attracted by that fantastic cover it's got there. And I did enjoy watching the TV show as a kid. So this is actually a really unique platform game where you have basically a jump and a spin attack. When you spin attack can move forward quite fast. You're familiar with Tasmanian Devil, he spins around really fast and you can make a little tornado. So when you're using that, you can use that to get through the level, but occasionally Taz wants to eat whatever he sees. So you may end up running into a bomb, and then Taz will eat the bomb automatically and cause himself damage. So you've got to be careful how fast you go. And I really love that because it's taking the character and creating a unique gameplay mechanic around the character. And the actual platforming, because of this speed, you can go fast or slower depending on what's going on, makes for a very unique platform game. It's got a very catchy soundtrack as well. I'm sorry I can't really show you any gameplay footage in this video. I did try and record it from my Master System, but due to the way I have my setup, I had to play the Master System through a Super Nintendo. Crazy, I know. I won't bore you with the details of why I had to do that, but unfortunately it meant that the footage just didn't work. It works fine with a Mega Drive game playing through the SNES, for instance, but it seems that once you stick a let me think, a Master System converter into a Mega Drive converter in order to play a Master System game, the device didn't quite work as well. So anyway, I wasn't able to record footage, but trust me, this is a good game. So sorry about that, but I would recommend Taz-mania for the Master System. Okay, so next up, while we're on the subject of classic Sega consoles, let's jump to the Mega Drive and Bubsy. Now, Bubsy is a franchise with a bit of notoriety. A lot of people don't seem to like Bubsy and feels it is the epitome of mascot games, where we had a lot of platformers during this era of gaming, and not all of them were created equal, and Bubsy seems to be the one that gets all the flack. Maybe because people don't like Bubsy himself, because he could be deemed quite irritating, I guess, because he has a lot of one-liners, he makes a lot of jokes, and he's a little bit too cocky for some people. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog's pretty cocky, so it's not something that bothers me a heck of a lot. This is a fun platform game to play. It's fast. There's an emphasis on bouncing around. Everything that bounces, trees bounce, and you bounce off enemies, and you can just kind of leap through the levels quite quickly. This is sometimes detrimental because you'll find yourself falling into water quite easily, or falling onto an enemy, running into an enemy more so. So it does have its issues, but it's a lot better than people ever give this credit for. It's bright and colourful and fast and fun, and if you're after a good platform game for the Mega Drive, I'd recommend Bubsy wholeheartedly. It has, my copy has a fun little sticker of Bubsy that someone stuck on there, which I thought was rather cute. And yeah, it's in one of those weird cartridges which isn't the right shape, if you recall those ones. 1993 was Bubsy, and don't bother with the sequel, which I've got, which is not as good as this game. This game does have a lot of variety in, and is a lot of fun, so I would recommend Bubsy. And lastly, on this episode, a game I think you'll probably all be familiar with. That's Monopoly for the Wii. But you've played this game. You've certainly played Monopoly, I imagine. This is a Wii version of Monopoly. I've not played it yet, admittedly. I have played the Monopoly on the PS3, which I found to be a great digital version of Monopoly. You know, I'm not used to playing Monopoly on a console. Never really done it. I know there's been a lot of console versions of Monopoly. I recently discovered there was actually a Master System version of Monopoly as well. But works great on Wii. It should work great on Wii if it worked well on PlayStation. But yeah, I've not had the opportunity to play it because, you know, I'm not going to play Monopoly on my own, and I have an opportunity to get a few people over to play it. And also finding a good amount of time to get a group of people to play Monopoly can be difficult. But yeah, can't really say much about this one, but I've picked it up and surely get around to playing it at some point. It's great to have a classic game like Monopoly on the Wii. And that's it for this episode of Parry's Pickups. Do hope you've enjoyed listening to me talk about a few games, and hopefully it's maybe made you aware of a few games that you didn't know about before, or now willing to maybe give a go. Or well, that's the purpose of these videos, really, just to, as well as talk about what I've picked up, which isn't the most interesting bit. The most interesting bit is actually talking about games and then you know, then you can decide whether or not that's something you want to play, maybe introducing you to something new. So thank you very much for taking time to watch the video. I do appreciate it. And something I don't always say in the videos, but do take a moment to check out our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram. We're using all these forms of social media quite heavily at the moment. Really love to get a bit more of interaction from the viewers on those. Also here on YouTube, please put a comment below if you've got anything to add to the video. If you played any of these games, if you like the looks of any of these games, or whatever you feel like. And like it if you like it. And subscribe if you like it. Basically, I don't need to tell you to do these things. You're intelligent people, so you probably do know if you like something. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon for another Parry's Pickups. Bye for now.